Man, I am watching the Diamondbacks and the Mets game right now. Shout out to Nolan McLean, man. He honestly he might be the favorite for Rookie of the Year this year in the NL. There's a lot of good rookies across the entire league. I don't want to get carried away though. This is not what this video is about. We're gonna go over all of the new City Connects that they just revealed over the course of the last few weeks. There was an article that MLB.com dropped today. I'll shout out who it was that made the article. They had released 8 new City Connects for 8 teams this season, and I'm excited to kind of look at them and kind of give them a bit of a grade on the A to F scale. So we're gonna get it started with the Atlanta Braves. They brought back the powder blue uniforms from the 1980s. As soon as I saw this, I immediately thought of Dale Murphy, the days back in the 80s and like the late 70s, early 80s and whatnot of him. Honestly, I really like the look at these jerseys. They do remind me a lot of the ones that they had last year. And I mean, the Braves have had different like jerseys with this baby blue in the past. I do like them though. It says I'll kind of read the description because I know that the description kind of really breaks down most of what the City Connects are really all about. Some of them look completely different than what you would expect. So the powder blue uniforms of the 1980s were the inspiration for the modernized design with red piping, an updated Atlanta script, and ATL block letter sleeve patch. The team's contemporary color scheme is paired with the throwback style. Now, on Ronald Acuna in this picture, you guys can see, I think it looks even better on him because of the yellow sleeves. I think the yellow mixed with the light blue and like the little red that he's got on his pants, the red that he has on the sleeve as well. I really, really like to look at these colors. I honestly feel like this baby blue is even lighter than like the baby blue that they had last year or some of the other baby blues that the Braves have had in the past. I am gonna give this probably like a B minus. It's not my absolute favorite. As much as I love baby blue, I think other teams just do it a little bit better. I'll probably give it like a B, maybe a B minus for the Braves. Now, this next one, the Baltimore Orioles. This one is a different one too, man. And like, I'll be honest. Okay, we'll read the description first. The A's threw it all the way back to the 1890s Baltimore Baseball Club for the inspiration for the old school B on the cap. The uniform design pays tribute to Camden Yards with motives that include the brass home run plaques and the wrought iron scoreboard clock. I really like this, and I'm not a huge fan for jerseys that look completely different than like the original colors. Even if there is kind of like a background story, and obviously they, like I can sit here and read the entire story for the Baltimore Orioles and why they chose the colors that they chose, the designs that they chose, the logos, whatever. But for me personally, when I think of the Orioles, I think of black and orange. I think of white, orange, and black. Like I think of their color scheme. So to see an Orioles jersey be something completely different is a little bit tough for me sometimes to kind of really like grasp why they're doing it. Even if there is like a big time storyline behind it. So I've been trying to kind of like just like analyze the jersey for itself and give it a grade without even trying to like think that this is an Orioles jersey. Like I just am going to grade the jersey itself, how it looks, and not really try to tie in like the Orioles. Like I remember a few years ago whenever the Red Sox did the blue and yellow jersey for like the marathon, and like it really tied to the city and everything like that. I was like, man, this, I know there's a great meaning behind it, but it doesn't shout Boston Red Sox to me. So personally, I didn't really like those jerseys. So I've been trying to be better at looking at the jersey and just basing it off of the way the jersey looks and not thinking of it as an Orioles jersey. So for this one, I really like this one. I really like this one. Now the jersey colors might be more of like a Green Bay Packers type of thing, which for that, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the sleeves being different colors than the regular jersey. I'm not a huge fan of that. Even though the green kind of does complement the yellow really well, and it kind of complements the white, I'm probably gonna give this like a B plus. I think it is better than the Braves jersey personally. I just think it does look clean. I love the little bird on top of the B more. Not a huge fan of the B more. I don't know. It sounds like I'm kind of like it sounds like I'm kind of dogging on this jersey, but okay, I'll give it a B minus. It does sound like I'm being a little bit negative on it, so I'll give it a B minus, similar to the Braves. I don't know. Something about this does kind of look nice though. The color scheme is just different. It's something that I feel like we've never really seen in baseball before, so I kind of like it for that aspect. So I'll go with a B minus. I'll settle with a B minus for this one and the Braves. The Cincinnati Reds, and man, when I first saw this jersey, yeah, this might be an F. The red City Connect jersey in the previous years with the black and the red was one of my favorites all time. I ain't gonna lie, it may have been my favorite City Connect jersey hands down. To see that on some of their young, exciting players like Ellie and some of the other guys, Hunter Green, of course, who is shown here. I really, really liked that jersey, and they decided to go with something like this, which the jersey itself is not that bad. I honestly like I like a flat red jersey. I like the pinstripe, sorry, the piping on it as well. Not awful. It is that goddamn logo. That logo is ugly as all hell. Somebody put on Twitter, I forget who it was. Somebody put on Twitter that it almost looks like a bacon strip, which ever since they said that, I can't get that out of my head. It kind of does look like bacon, which I don't know. They said with a nod to the vest style jersey the Reds wore last year, more than the Reds last wore more than 2 decades ago. So like the Barry Larkin stuff, of course. Pinstripes return to the fore in a tone on tone style. A sleeve graphic features the Tyler Davidson fountain, which begins flowing each year around opening day. So the story behind it is nice. Now, like I said, I'm not against an all red jersey. I like the color red. I think it looks clean on jerseys. I mean, it's the Cincinnati Reds for Christ's sake, so it does kind of make sense there. It is that logo, the ugly logo that throws things completely off. I also think if the buttons were a different color, like I said, I'm not against an all red jersey, but if the buttons were a different color, like if they were a black, kind of like the bottom of the sleeve is, if like the buttons were black, or if the entire belt was black, or maybe if Hunter Green wore like black arm sleeves in this, it might look a little bit more appealing. I'm gonna give this a D. And the only reason it's not an F is because I feel like I've seen worse in the past. And it's not the entire jersey. It is more so just that logo. That logo is so bad. Now, this next one, the Cincinnati Royals, the Cincinnati Royals, good lord. The Kansas City Royals. The city's official City of Fountains logo inspired a fuchsia to blue gradient that highlights Kansas City's iconic waterways. A new twist on the R logo pays homage to the team's original 1969 mark, and a heart logo reflects Kansas City's placement in the country's heartland. I like the background to that. I like that some of these teams are going like really, really like original. Like the Orioles were like the 1890s. The Royals did the 1969 mark when they first became a team. I like this jersey. I think it's clean. Now the R, I saw some people on Twitter and some people in like the media and whatnot weren't a huge fan of the R, and how like the lines within it kind of like overlap, and it looks a little bit weird. And I do agree with that. I kind of wish that the lines didn't overlap and it was more of like all of the lines just kind of like were fluid together, and they kind of like came together without overlapping. So I do kind of understand that. As an entire jersey, though, I think it's clean, and I'm also not a huge fan of just plain white jerseys, but the fact that they do have like the blue stripes on the side, and the purple gradient, I guess they said fuchsia gradient into the blue does kind of look nice. It kind of adds more of a pizzazz to it, which I like a lot. The one thing I will say about the Cincinnati Royals, why do I keep saying the Cincinnati Royals? The Kansas City Royals, the one thing I will say about the Royals is I think that they would look so nice if they had like a gold type of City Connect jersey where it was like the blue and the gold, and like they're the Royals with like the crown somehow. I understand that might not really like tie into the city, and I understand that, of course, but when I think of the Royals and I think of some of their better jerseys in recent memory, I think of like the 2015, like when they won the World Series, and then I think the year after that they had a jersey that was like goldish, kind of how like the Dodgers are this year with like gold in their like logo and stuff because they won the World Series. So if the Royals were to come out with something like that, like have some type of like gold crown, gold, blue, white together is such a great color mix, and I think that would look really nice. For this one in particular, I don't know, man. I don't want to go another B, but You know what? I think this one might be the best one we've seen so far, so I'm going to give it a B plus. I gave the other ones like a B minus or a B. I'll give this one a B plus. I'm just thinking, like, man, this is only 8 of like the entire like. I mean, I know the Yankees probably won't have a City Connect, or I know the A's have not done it in the past either. So of like the 29, 28 teams that are going to release some, is the Royals going to be one of the better ones? I don't know, so I'm not going to give it an A. I'll give it a B plus. I'll stick with a B plus. Milwaukee Brewers, this one says honoring the Brew Crew's role not just as Milwaukee's team but Wisconsin's team. A water tone base and cream accent evoke the Badger State's lakes, shores, and bluffs, and a gradient word mark is inspired by the state's beautiful summer sunsets. The Wisco lettering on the chest, state motto on the collar, and redesigned Barrelman sleeve patch all serve to celebrate the team's history and Wisconsin's rich heritage. I'll be honest, I like this jersey. I've seen a lot of hate for this jersey on Twitter. I've seen a lot of hate for this jersey. I think this is better than their last one, and that might be crazy to say, but I really like this color blue. I don't know what it is. I really like this color blue. It reminds me of some other jerseys I've seen, whether it was baseball, basketball. I've seen this color on something before. I mean, kind of like the Twin City Connect a little bit from last year too. So a little bit similar to that. I don't know. I really like the look of this jersey, man. I might be in the minority here because a lot of people didn't really like it. I might go an A minus. I think this one might be the best one I've seen so far, and that might be crazy to say. I know a lot of people didn't like this. I'm gonna stick to my gut. I'm gonna say an A minus in this one. I don't know. I just really like to look at this. I think the color, I love that color blue. A lot of teams. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this one I really like. I don't know. I just really like this one a lot. So I'm gonna go with an A minus. Oh man, this one. Oh man, I might have to go back to the Brewers. I might have to give the Brewers a B plus. I think this is the best one. I think this is the best one. The pirate style word mark on the chest draws inspiration from the city's three sister bridges across the Allegheny River, while red accents and Jolly Roger elements bring a splash of color to the black and gold backbone that is elemental to Pittsburgh sports tradition. I love the old Pirates logo on the hat. I think that is so clean. That reminds me of like the Jason Kendall era, the late 90s, even like the Barry Bonds, like the late Barry Bonds era too. And I love what they did at the bottom of the Pirates, like the wording on the jersey. It almost kind of gives like a scary type of vibe. Like it almost gives like a fierce, like you guys should fierce that we are the Pirates. Like you guys should fierce it and stuff like that. I don't know. I just really like the font that they chose. Obviously, they were kind of basic with the color scheme. Like they kind of went with the orange, or sorry, the yellow and the black color scheme, which I like the color scheme. If they changed it up, it wouldn't matter. I like this a lot better than the one that they had last year. I like that they stuck with Pirates on the jersey instead of, I think, what was it last year, like PTG or like PT or like PHG or something like that. Like it was like a weird type of an abbreviation. So wasn't a huge fan of those ones last year. I'll be honest. I think a lot of people like them too. So I don't know, man. You know what? I'm gonna bump the Brewers one down to a B plus, and I'm gonna give this one the A minus. I think this is the best one, at least of the 8 that they've revealed so far. I think so. We'll see what else they got, but I think, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pirates and A minus. I'm gonna go with the Pirates and A minus because if all of them, I feel the most confident that this one will probably stick around like an A minus by the end of like all the teams revealing them. There you go, Padres. Celebrating San Diego's bi-national culture with a focus on Dia de Muertos. I'm guaranteeing I'm saying that completely wrong. The design features a chest word mark reflective of a sunset, a La Catrina sleeve patch, marigold pattern trim, bone-colored hat and pants, and in a nod to the Mexican folk art, a papal picado jock tag. Yeah, I know I'm completely butchering all of those words in that, but honestly, I think this is better than the one they had in the past. I think originally the first one that they revealed a few years ago, like the Slam Diego, like the graffiti art type of stuff, or I guess I know that was like the Giants, but they had kind of like a splash art type of thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. Very colorful, very colorful. Was not a huge fan as time went on. I thought originally I was like, oh man, this is really nice. I like the look of it. It's kind of different. And as time went on, I was like, you know what? All these other ones are just cleaner. I think The Padres one at the end of it just kind of honestly it was maybe one of my least favorites. So this one in particular, I think the navy blue and like the darker blue actual jersey itself kind of reminds me of like the 2000s Padres era. Even kind of like the late Tony Gwynn era too. So like when they made the World Series in 98, or yeah, that was 98 I believe. Like some of those teams, like it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but also kind of keeping it with a modern type of feel in a way. I kind of like the orange, but I also don't really know why the orange is different than the coloring on the hat. At least it looks different. It might be the same color, but if they did more of like a yellow on the sleeves or a yellow on the pants, I think it would look a little bit better. I think it would look a little bit more natural for the Padres, I guess. I'm probably gonna give this one like a C plus. I don't know. It's not as good as some of the other ones, and it's definitely not as bad as the Reds one. I'll probably give this one like a C. I'm gonna go with a basic C. I'm not gonna go C plus. I think it's solid. It's not actually no. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'll give it a C. I think that's kind of like on the bottom half of like the 100 scale. So I'll go with a C for the Padres. Now, I believe this is the last one is the Texas Rangers. The Rangers also celebrate Mexican heritage near the border with a I have no idea what that word is, and a Tejas word mark across the chest, which is Texas in Spanish, as well as a charro embossed belt and a mariachi inspired fill patterns. Yeah, this is really showing that I have no idea anything about Spanish, but either way, I really like this jersey. I really like this jersey, and I think the Raiders one from last year kind of grew on me as time went on. I like the way it looked on field, which I think that's a big thing for jerseys like this is they look different in like a photo booth type of thing like this as opposed to being on the actual field. This one just looks clean. It almost looks like the red is kind of like a glossy red. It almost gives off like a college feel with like the Texas being bordered, or sorry, the Tejas being bordered with the red. I think it looks like the T is black, but it might be red too. I have no idea. It looks black on this picture, but even if it isn't black, I just think the entire thing looks really nice. I like the piping down the middle. Like I said, the red looks really nice. This is a much better looking red than the Reds red, so I don't know. I'd probably give this one. I don't want to give this one like a B plus again, man. I feel like a lot of these were Bs, but if I'll give it like a B plus plus. I think outside of the Pirates, I think this is probably the best one. I think the Pirates was an A minus, and this one a B plus. Actually, you know what? I'll give the Pirates an A, and I'll give this one an A minus. That way they're kind of at least above the rest, because I think these are the two best in my opinion. All right, and there we have it. We just graded all of the 8 new City Connect jerseys. Hopefully they do like another wave of these soon, and hopefully like maybe before the summertime. I think that's how it was last year. Like there was like another like 5 or 8 teams that revealed more jerseys before the summertime, so we could do another one of these in a few months. But without further ado, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, watching this grading. You guys comment down below which one is your favorite so far of all the new jerseys that they revealed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.